This week at a hearing in front of Congress, in front of the House Natural Resources Subcommittee on Fisheries, Wildlife, Oceans, and Insular Affairs. One of my favorite committees. Subcommittees. Noah Matson testified. Noah Matson is the vice president of a group called Defenders of Wildlife, and he came on to say that there is a one-paragraph regulation that determines what the regulations are for protecting the National Wildlife Refuge System. So he came before Congress to say that, look, this one paragraph is incomplete. You're the federal government. You have like 1,300 pages on everything, right? So a paragraph is allowed for many loopholes, and maybe we're not protecting the wildlife refuge system correctly, and he came with evidence. Here's his testimony.
And one of my favorites, a leaking tank repaired with duct tape and a garbage bag, was taken on a refuge in March of this year. On many national wildlife refuges, development of privately owned oil and gas minerals recounts the Wild West. The existing single paragraph of Fish and Wildlife Service regulations pertaining to non-federal mineral rights on national wildlife refuges is completely inadequate.
So, okay, so there's Noah Matson, right? And he came with some compelling evidence. I mean, that was oil would have leaked everywhere, but it was repaired with duct tape.
Exactly.
And a trash bag. Vance McAllister is one of the Republicans on that subcommittee, and he was fairly unimpressed with that testimony. So let's instantly begin with clip 7. Here's Vance McAllister's first response. Each one is better than the one before.
But yet you come here before this committee today and show these pictures. Do you know when those repairs were made? The garbage bag, for instance.
That garbage bag picture was taken in just a couple months ago, and I believe it's still unrepaired.
Okay, so you took a picture of someone who was innovative, and rather than leaving the fluid to drip on the ground, repaired it with duct tape and a garbage bag, and yet you seem to be very upset about that.
Got him.
That guy was innovative. Okay, that was clip
it's like
7.
Steve Jobs up there.
All right, let's jump forward. Skip 8. Let's go right to clip 9.
And you want to use an example of how the system's run them up.
I have a similar picture from a year before that one with the same setup, so they never came back to repair it.
Was it leaking? Did it get into the ground, or was it still working? Fair question.
I don't have the answer.
It was contained, was it not?
With a very strong garbage bag. I guess.
I don't care if it's a strong garbage bag or if it was.
Anybody can come there. A storm can come, can puncture the garbage bag, and there's a spill. Done.
Could have, should have, would have. It didn't.
Nobody says should have. They don't want it to be punctured.
We got to get could have, should have, would have
Didn't happen
on the soundboard. He did sound like me in many arguments with my wife about what might have happened. But it didn't. It didn't. So I don't know. As I said, they all.
It's amazing that worked. I acknowledge it was innovative, but we expect more when you're talking about the transport of oil.
Yeah, like we don't fix a crack in the bridge with caulk from Home Depot.
Yeah.
Like because, well, the bridge didn't collapse and kill hundreds of people during rush hour, so everything's fine. No, we're trying to make sure that there isn't the oil spill. That's the problem. Now,
really fast. I love the idea. Like he just wants to see people being old-fashioned handymen. Like if you were to send him over to investigate the compound in Benghazi, and he found that the gates were being kept shut with a twist tie, he'd be like, innovative.
Totally.
No, I don't think so.
The Noah Matson didn't come on there to say that he's not mad at the guy who put the duct tape and the garbage. He's saying that needs to be a better system. He probably is glad that guy did that.
Yeah,
right?
Glad that he did that.
Glad. Yeah, it's great. I'll leave you with that one. That's a winner. We're going to come back to 10. Here is 11. He'll reiterate his point about good old American ingenuity.
It just aggravates me that the body of Congress would be wasted with someone coming up and taking pictures of something that shows that it is fixed. It may not be fixed the way you want it. It may not be used by these high-dollar couplings and aluminum, brass, thread, whatever you want to put on them. But it's fixed, and that's what you want to turn your testimony into, some pictures portraying the innovation of what America is.
Innovation of what America is. That's an America that's about to fucking break, Representative. That's an America on the verge of catastrophe.
Yeah, I don't know if Vance McAllister would probably assert that he's some sort of expert in energy and oil specifically. I don't know if he's aware of how many oil spills there are or the massive amount of concerns about possible spills if the tar sands pipeline is completed. Like that's a very real concern. And you have to ask yourself as an American who might have to vote for someone who shares a basic governing philosophy with someone like Vance McAllister, do you want him in charge of maintaining America's infrastructure? That he's going to look at a bridge that's been fixed with caulk and say that's perfectly fine, train lines that are too old, like those sorts of things. Do you want a man like that in charge?
That's right. That's what you get, by the way. That's what you get when you get guys who aren't interested in making government work in charge. I guarantee you, Vance McAllister he's from Louisiana. So he probably dropped the hammer on BP, man. He was probably like, oh no, I admire. You guys were like, don't crack, don't crack, don't crack. And you wished it and wished it and wished it. Imagine if BP had gone under there with the
a garbage bag, just put it over underwater.
It's fine. He'd have been like, it's so innovative. Oh my God, I so want to fuck BP.
Or he sees a testimony of like environmentalists like, did they wipe off the duck? They did wipe off the duck. What do you got a problem with it then? Like, so we have higher standards.
Now, as we mentioned, he's from Louisiana. Louisiana is a land of a great deal of a great deal.
Deal works.
A wide variety of wildlife and some federal lands, and you got the swamps. I don't know. I saw a True Detective. There's a lot of stuff down there. But he's a real Louisianan, and he appreciates the great outdoors. And in clip 10, he makes that very clear. This is the big one.
I'm just saying, you come up here with these pictures and you try to blast that this industry is not taking care. And I understand you're wanting to protect wildlife. And look, I love the great outdoors, and I live in Louisiana, sportsman's paradise, and I love it too. But I'm not for giving ducks and deer weapons to shoot back at me. I'm about protecting their habitats that they got, and we have done that. We have plentiful wildlife there.
Yeah, I think it was a huge mistake for Noah Matson to suggest that they should arm the deer. In his testimony.
Well, I feel bad for like the one Democratic congressman across the room who's like, I'm never going to pass this arm the ducks bill. It's never going to get to Congress.
Oh shit! One guy was like, oh damn.
It's not my year. It's just not my year.
I appreciate but I'm not for giving the ducks and the deer guns. Oh my God, this guy's in fucking Congress. That his constituents, that we live in a country where he's got constituents, every 2 years he's got to get elected. He's running in November of 2014. And he doesn't live in wouldn't it be great if we lived in the world and people were like, did you hear what Representative McAllister said? Well, who's the other guy? Let's vote for the other. I don't care who he is.
Look, maybe he's saying it because the last thing people heard about him is that he had been caught on camera kissing a woman who wasn't his wife, and he thinks, well, if I say something batshit insane, maybe they'll forget the kissing thing.
I forgot that was him.
That is exactly him, yes.